because something happened to me and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a video about this. My daughter is an education major, and she texted me a few hours ago. Today was the first day of her practicum. She's doing the student-teacher or teacher-student experience. So she gets to teach a class, and she's going to be doing that for this entire year, and she graduates in December. So she texted me and said, Mom, today's the first day. I'm really enjoying it. My instructor is so pretty. She's young. She's so nice. And she's telling me all this stuff. And of course, I'm like, oh, hon, I'm so happy. You know, oh, that's so great. I'm glad that you're enjoying the experience. And then Mom kicked in. So I told her, because as we all know, I've been through a lot of clinical experiences, and you know, I know how to navigate it. And so the first thing I told her was like, okay, now put your phone away. So today's video is about what not to do in clinical. I think sometimes we get our phones just pull us in, and I am the first to admit I love social media, which is why I love YouTube, I love Instagram, I love Facebook. And sometimes those things, you can turn it on and not even realize that you've been looking at this phone for an hour or for 30 minutes. Time just goes by so fast. So I text her back and I said, hun, that's all great. We'll talk when you get home, but put your phone away and enjoy the experience. Learn from the experience. Put your phone away. Well, Mom, I'm like, no, put it away, because I already know how she can get wrapped up into her phone. Here's why I say that. And now I'm going to transition to talking to nurses and nurse practitioners, or anyone having a clinical experience. So if you're a teacher and you look at my channel for motivation, then pay attention. So when you're in the arena where you're learning, so you're at your clinical site, preceptors, in which I have precepted nurse practitioner students, I have precepted a lot of nursing students. When I worked on the unit, I was like a major preceptor. Yeah. So one thing you want to do is make it known to your preceptor, I'm here to learn. Okay. So what preceptors do not like are students who are just so engaged with the phone, or they have books, and through the entire, here's a book that I'm reading, through the entire experience, they're just like this. Okay, which is, I mean, it's okay to use your book to look something up really quick. I would have my little guides in my lab coat, and I would pull it out and flip to what I needed to and put it away. But through the entire experience, I did not have my nose in a book. Okay, you're there and you're in that arena and you're in that area so that you can learn how to care for a patient. You need to take it all in. You need to be present. You need to ask questions, because I put this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month or something ago, or that this is a serious job. You have people's lives in your hands. Being a nurse is not this glamorous thing. Most people, well, I can't speak for other people, but when you go into this profession, it should be because you want to be of service to others. And if it's someone that is not going to get better, then you want to improve their quality of life as much as you can. So when you're in this clinical arena, understand that it's serious, it's important. You are preparing for the day when you are the only thing standing in between a patient and the grave. When I was in clinical, everyone knew that I had come there to learn. You know how people say, I came to win. Everyone knew I came to learn. This is why I say that. I'll never forget this experience I had. You guys know I like to talk about my experiences. So I honestly felt a little intimidated at first, but I took the reins. I gained control. So it was really difficult to get pediatric clinical rotations. So I landed one at a clinical spot with a physician, a pediatrician. And he graduated from Georgetown. He had his own practice. He had been practicing for 20 years or more. He had his patients that always came and they really only wanted to see him. So sometimes that can be difficult, because if you're seeing a student and you're like, oh, I don't get to see my doctor today, or if it's a nurse practitioner run clinic, oh, I don't get to see my NP today. A lot of people just want to see the person who they've always seen. But his patients were really nice and accepting of students. He only accepted one nurse practitioner student per semester, and the rest of the students were med students. So I'm there. He had like an office where we all sat until it was time for us to start taking our patients. And so there was like a long table and we were all around the table, and I'm the only NP, all the rest were med students, but I'm really friendly, so I got along with everyone really well. I was nervous at this clinical spot initially because he seemed to be just really precise. He knew how he wanted things done. Get in there, get out, get the facts, keep it moving. So I learned the ropes and I created a name for myself in the clinic. Everyone knew that I wanted to see everything. I wanted to know everything. I want to learn. So I'll give you an example. And I realized that he knew it too when this happened. We're all sitting around the table and I'm very observant. So I would just look around, just at what everyone else was doing. And I basically was waiting to have an opportunity to learn something new or to help someone. So we're there and I was looking at the computer preparing for my next patient. And one of the med students who was with the physician at that time popped his head in and said, hey guys, there's a really interesting case out here. And Dr. So-and-so said, if anyone wants to come and see it, they can come. So I jumped up. Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. So the student looked at me and said, oh, he said that you would. So you come. He said you were definitely going to want to see this. And I'm like, so I basically really made it known that I'm not here to play games. I'm here to learn. So I would see the different types of students. And this is just over the years. I've seen people sleeping. I've seen people playing games on their computers. I've seen people studying for tests. I've seen people just sitting there So what did I do? I would usually help the medical assistants, or I would ask, can I help you? So if we were pretty much done with patients and there were no more patients to room, I would be the person that would go and start changing the paper on the examining tables. I would straighten up the rooms. I've even asked medical assistants if they seem to be overwhelmed. Hey, do you want me to give these vaccines for you? I mean, I'm a nurse. I know how to give shots. I do that today. I'll give a vaccine. I'll draw some blood. If I have time, let me do it. When I finished my clinicals in these different spots that I went to as a nurse practitioner student, I was offered jobs because I'll never forget, we were told, and I don't remember who told us this, but they said, when you're in the clinical arena, you should look at it as a job interview. You may want to come back and work in that spot. The pediatrician offered me a job. I mean, he literally calls me in his office. I was so nervous. And he's just like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do? And he's like, I really want you to help me out. I want you to stay. I want you to work here. When you graduate, will you come? Will you work with me? When I graduated, I had several job offers before I even took my boards because of how I presented myself in clinical. I didn't choose any of them because I had already written down what I wanted. I wanted the $50,000 loan repayments. I wanted to work at a federally qualified health center because of the $50,000 loan repayments. So I knew that those jobs, those places I had done clinical and they all offered me jobs, I knew that I wasn't going to take those jobs because I needed this loan repayment. I just envisioned what my life was going to be like when I graduated. I knew it. And I made it happen, you know, especially, I mean, not even me making it happen. I prayed about it and God made it happen. But I made it clear what I wanted. Ask and you shall receive. So always come prepared. I remember some students would show up, no pen. Do you have a piece of paper I could use? Don't let that be you. Come with your A game. I'm a preceptor. I notice everything. I notice when I get a student who is just passionate about what they're learning and what they're doing and they're excited. I was so excited. I mean, I wanted to see everything. And even when I got a chance, I would even ask my preceptor stuff like, well, how did you get through the first year? And, oh, well, so you chose that treatment for the patient. Could I have done this, this, and this? Would that have been appropriate? Sometimes I would go into a patient's room and before I got in, I would say to myself, okay, I'm going to pretend like I'm running this ship. I'm here. I don't have a preceptor. How would I handle this patient? And when I went in and did my HPI and asked my questions and made my diagnosis and wrote down what medications I was going to prescribe for this patient and then presented to my instructor, in my mind, I thought, if my instructor wasn't here, this is what I would have done. So let me see what she thinks about it. I think we all, you know, towards the end of your clinical, we all should be thinking along the lines of, if she wasn't here, would this have been appropriate? Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you're in clinical, especially when you're towards the end of your program, understand that you're going to be by yourself pretty soon. So this is not a joke. This is not the time to prepare for exams. You have to do that at night when you get home. Even though you've spent 10 hours or 8 hours in clinical, then yeah, you have to go home and you have to stay up half of the night and study for your test. We've all done it. It's hard, but it's doable. So understand that clinical time is clinical time. You need to understand how to care for these patients, how to assess them. You need to understand about medication. So have all of your resources with you. You guys know that I always have my resources with me. Just go in there with your A game and just ready to learn, and you'll be successful. So I am going to end this video here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you have not. And I will